Hello, we are working on our mini project 2, which is focusing on social media use in hiring and firing. And last week I just kind of gave an introduction as to why this isn't even an issue, and today we're going to be looking a little more closely at it. We're going to be looking at some statistics, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, 52% of recruiters are always searching social media posts, so this is absolutely something that we could be concerned about. And 55% of recruiters are reconsidering hires based on their social activity. And then also with that being said, 61% result in negative outcomes. So what's considered positive, what's considered negative, what's neutral? Let's take a look. Things that are negative: illegal drug references, sexual posts, poor spelling and grammar, profanity, and posts about guns. Things that are positive include volunteerism and charity posts. And then things that are neutral: alcohol generally is neutral aside from when it's an excessive or inappropriate use. And then also 69% of recruiters don't care about your political affiliation. So if that's a concern, go ahead and don't even worry about that. But there are some things that you should be aware that you are putting out to the public and putting out to future employers, such as medical or family problems, religion, age, sexual orientation, and disabilities. And while that may not be something that you think about right away, with just a little bit of searching, or as our generation calls it, creeping, you can find this information out fairly easily. But with that being said, 74% of organizations are concerned about the legal ramifications of searching. So they're trying to be legal, they're trying not to go around those security codes, and yet they're still finding out this information. And while you may wonder, is this really an issue? I'd like to give you two hypothetical situations which came up on monsters.com. One is a female candidate that talks about her ex-husband who's just a jerk. She references him as a pig and says that because he's not spending enough time with her children, and he's skipping out on the time that he should be with his children, that he is actually causing her to miss work. You're a future employer for her. Are you concerned about this? Do you take this into consideration? Is this private information that should or shouldn't be considered? What about an applicant who clearly uses a cane via all of his social media pictures, and yet he's applying for a job that requires heavy lifting? Well, you can't ask about his disability according to the law, but you know information about his disability. Do you use this? Do you, well, you can't ask him about it, so either you have to trust social media or say that it's not important until he can prove himself otherwise. And so things such as LinkedIn is visited by about 92% of future employers that are using social media, Facebook with 66%, and Twitter with 52%. So these things that, while you may think that they're, being private, aren't necessarily private and do have ramifications. So you definitely want to be thinking about that. Next week we're going to look at some specific cases in which social media resulted in employees being fired by their employers. Have a great week. See you next week.